Guardiões são protetores.
Somos verdadeiros protetores de água, floresta, animais.
I'm here with the directors of We Are Guardians, Edivan Guajajara, Chelsea Greene, and Rob Grobman. It's a pleasure to have you here. First off, congratulations on creating such a powerful and essential film. We have an intimate look into the struggles and convictions of the forest guardians, and I think that's because Edivan is part of the community. Could you share with us what it was like to film in your own community?
Quando eu resolvi convidar Chelsea e Rob para irem no território Araribóia, a princípio eu pensei que fosse só mais outras pessoas, porque o meu território Araribóia é considerado um dos territórios mais sangrentos, né? Por conta dos guardiões fazerem essa defesa e muitas das vezes eles são ceifados, são mortos por fazerem essa defesa do território. E pessoas sempre vinham, né? Querer fazer reportagem, querer filmar, né, os guardiões fazendo atividade, fazendo monitoramento territorial. Então, a princípio, eu pensei que fosse, pode ser só mais um repórter que está vindo e que vai pegar as imagens e vai embora, né? Então, mas eu achei tão importante a vida deles e também a participação direta dos povos indígenas, de um indígena, principalmente, que sou eu, que compõe a equipe de Somos Guardiões. Eu acho que faz todo sentido e também faz com que as coisas estejam da forma correta, porque eu acho que se não tivesse a participação indígena no filme, seria uma outra história. E quando eu levei Chelsea Rock no meu território, mas na perspectiva de mostrar mesmo o que estava acontecendo, né, para o mundo, não só para ficar no território ou então no Brasil, eu queria algo maior do que isso. Então, eu também me dediquei muito, né, para isso acontecer com Rob, Chelsea. Eu não queria, não quero que seja só apenas um filme. Somos Guardiões tem que ser algo para todo mundo, para as pessoas se sensibilizarem, para as pessoas pensarem o que a gente está fazendo de importante nessa vida.
Muchas gracias, Iván. En serio, tu participación creo que elevó el documental a otro nivel, porque no es siempre que tenemos esa oportunidad de estar o sea, sentirnos parte también de la comunidad, ¿no? Muchas gracias. The film showcases a range of voices, which is one of the things that I love about the film, including the ones of the loggers, like Valdir Duarte.
Finding Valdir, I think, was in a lot of ways an incredibly beautiful and surprising experience for us. You know, he has a really incredible heart. He took incredible care of us as we were there with him and his whole crew. And they were very forthcoming to share their perspective and their story, as though, you know, they had been marginalized and left out of that opportunity throughout their lives. So one of those really, truly incredible experiences in my life.
The film highlights kind of like a common thread among its diverse stories. For me, it's whether about the guardians, the loggers, the small-scale farmers, but it's centered on the themes of survival and love, you know, often leading to conflicting outcomes, such as protecting ancestral forests versus exploiting them, right? Essentially, all of them are doing what they're doing to protect their families and to escape poverty. I applaud you for giving us all these perspectives and making us think before pointing fingers and villainizing people.
I think they're motivated by the same things that the most everyone is, you know, and I think we as a society need to provide better opportunities for people and recognize that these extractive industries are destroying not only the forest, they're destroying us because we're so intertwined. Our health is so intertwined with the health of the forest all over the world, but especially in the Amazon. As Chelsea said, you know, this is a hub and a central meeting point of so much biodiversity, of so much fresh water creation, both in the sky and on the ground. It really is like the heart of our world, and we need to protect our heart.
Part of the interesting thing about the Indigenous perspective that is like They haven't subscribed as much to the idea of capitalism, to the need, constantly needing things for happiness. And I think we need to look at ourselves and like, what makes us happy? You know, time with our families, having fresh food. And it's so hard for people all over the world to even access those two basic human rights, that we have a serious problem with the system if we're destroying our own life force to be able to feed the greed of the very wealthy. And how do you reconcile that? We have to put an end to the greed in the capitalist system, and we have to show examples in media of people working a different way. At the heart of it all, we have to feel differently in our hearts about what is actually driving us, what's making us happy, and change the system to work for that, because it's also going to work for nature, because we need nature.
Exactly. And I think that one of the most striking things that I saw in the film is that, for example, I think it was the farmer that said, oh, I feel that it's a shame, that indigenous populations have so much territory because they're not using it, and that's a complete utilitarian way of thinking. And that's how, of course, Bolsonaro thinks and thought, Also, activist Puir Tembe said, to be born indigenous is to be born with blood of resistance, which rings true for many communities across the world. How crucial was Puir's role in representing this ongoing battle politically?
Puir is extremely inspiring, and I think all women should look up to women idols like herself to know how to take our power in the system, because we've had a patriarchal system for so long, and look at how far that's gotten us. We need to be able to have inclusion and diversity in our institutions and in our places of power. And that is Puir's, that's her whole spiel that she's given her whole life. And she's just headed in that direction. And it's amazing, like what she's been able to achieve so far. And what an incredible ending to the film, and a beacon of hope. And we're going to need a lot more of that. We're going to need equal representation in government. So let's continue down this road of Puir. So in the storytelling, though, Marçal, he relies on the forest. He literally needs the forest to catch the fish and the animals that he feeds his family, and everything that's happening to the forest is affecting their meals day to day. We were left to the city to fight, so we needed somebody who's on the inside and the outside from the indigenous community to tell the story, so that people could feel this like teddy bear warrior spirit of Marçal. He literally needs the forest, and then Puir is like this warrior woman out in the world, going to climate summits that we needed to bring in, like, what is the world doing about climate change and the destruction of the Amazon?
And I love that you included also Puir saying, she was at the COP and she said, like, we are not just here for the photo op, we need a space for dialogue. And her actually asking them, for space for dialogue, need more of that. And you pointed that out on the film, and I was like, yes. We're Guardians make the case for more accountability from corporations and more direct actions from politicians to stop extreme deforestation, echoing Puir's call for a shift in mindset when she said, it's not just about thinking about it, but it's about reforesting the mind, which I think it's brilliant, by the way. How can the audience help make this change happen?
First of all, reforesting your mind is a really good place to start, because in the heart of it all, this way that we look at our lives and what is important to us, what is important to our happiness, needs to come into our daily decisions. And it's not just the decisions, but your actions. Like when you enter the supermarket, don't buy store brand meat. It's probably from JBS, or the chicken is fed by soy from Cargill. 78% of the soy coming out of the Amazon is fed to animals. Pigs in China is a huge one. I mean, we can make the choice every day not to buy these products, but it's not, you have to, don't stop there. Speak out against these companies. We need a huge consumer uprising, speaking out against these actions that are just fueled by greed. There's absolutely no reason to be deforesting more virgin forest to produce these products that there's already 100,000 hectares of degraded
100
land.
million. There's 100 million hectares of degraded land in Brazil that could be available for, agricultural use.
Yeah. And that's the same in Peru. That's the same in a lot of countries all over the Amazon rainforest. Yeah.
Yes, and it should be absolutely unacceptable to import Brazilian hardwoods, especially endangered species. I mean, we need to crack down, the law enforcement needs to crack down on the exports and imports of wood from endangered forest regions, and consumers need to know that if it's Brazilian hardwood, it's probably contributing to Amazon deforestation. And so we all need to say something about this, about what's going on, and not let these companies continue. It usually goes back to the companies, because if you look at what kind of legislation is being passed in Brazil, the companies are influencing the politicians. And so the politicians also need to stand up and not accept corruption and bribery.
I mean, it's crazy because we see in the film how these loggers are literally cutting down trees and then with the tag saying it's sustainably harvested, yeah, it's insane. And finally, your film's tagline emphasizes that it's not just a film, it's a movement. Could you elaborate a little bit on the impact campaign and the broader influence you hope to achieve with that?
Yeah, from the beginning, we knew that we wanted to make more than just a film, that impact in the communities and worldwide was paramount to this project. So really, we kind of feel like we're at the beginning now that we're getting to share the film with the world. We've been touring it at festivals and bringing it to thankfully to different government officials. We were in DC last fall. We brought it to Brasilia. We brought it to different politicians and parliamentary agents in Europe and Spain and in the UK. So, getting the film out there is one thing, but we really are striving to work with the communities that we filmed with, both the Também, the Guajajara, as well as the non-Indigenous communities, to create some projects that we can bring help and support from their leadership and what they want to see going forward to help build autonomy for them and sustainability while keeping the forest standing. So the impact campaign really revolves around bringing support to those guardians to help reforest parts of their territories, to build some bioeconomies that will help sustain them into the future, and create education for people to understand what's going on in the Amazon and how they can help.
And for people to use their voice and post on social media and take action and speak out about what's happening, especially directed at these companies. We'll continuously update our website's Take Action page with ways that people can immediately make their voice heard and make change.
Thank you very much, Rob and Chelsea and Edivan. It's wonderful to meet you and talk about this incredible film, and that everybody should watch it now. I think it's streaming on Netflix, Latin America, right?
Yeah, and we'll have international streaming distribution later this year. But in the meantime, please come and see us in person. We're doing an extensive screening tour, so check out our website to see where we're going to be playing next.